Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Curvi Yogi. I am Jakita, and this video is going to be a little bit different. I just wanted to do a review on the limited series on Netflix called When They See Us. And that's about the Central Park Five, or the Exonerated Five now, because they were innocent. And it's about I would say five kids, but they're adults now. But they were Raymond Santana, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salaam, McCray, and Korey Wise. And they were falsely convicted of rape of a 28-year-old back in 1989. Now, I didn't know a lot about this case because in 89 I was barely 1 year old. So I knew about it but didn't really go into depth researching it until now. So of course I watched the limited series and I watched the Ken Burns documentary, and I just wanted to kind of have a full look at their version of the story. And we all know that they didn't do it, but I'm glad that Ava named it When They See Us, because it's true and it's still the same thing that goes on today, and it's very relevant. So they were basically convicted of rape of a 28-year-old who was jogging in Central Park one night, and they were a part of a group of guys that were out in the park just, hanging out, doing stuff that kids do. And I understand that some of the kids were just going and, I guess, harassing some of the people that were walking by as well. But these five boys did nothing wrong at all. They were just a product of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And so they all served from 7 to 13 years, with Korey being the one that served the most. I think he was there for 13, and the rest served at least 7 years. And the bad thing about it is none of them knew each other, but they were all put against each other to testify or to confess that the others did it. And that just kind of baffled me the whole time I was watching it. But before we get too far into it, I just want to kind of talk about the acting and the actual series. Now, I loved the series. I think the acting was phenomenal, especially Jarrell Jerome, who played Korey Wise. And it's just, I think every character in here just pulled on your heartstrings and made you get into it. And they just pulled you into the story. They made you feel like you were kind of there, even though none of us knew what that felt like, or none of us knew what it felt like to go through all of that. We at least got a piece of what it looked like. And it didn't look good. It didn't feel good at all, because I watched the series and the documentary twice. How? I don't know. The first time I just completely got angry. I was just angry the whole time because, I don't know, even though we know the outcome is you want it to be something different and you kind of want it to be a positive outcome somehow, but it just, we know that it didn't get better. It's not getting better. The good thing is they're exonerated. They don't have to worry about that, but they still have to live with this. These things happen. They lost critical years of their life for something they didn't do. And so that's just something that's going to have a lasting effect on them. Like I said, the acting was phenomenal. The storyline was phenomenal. The way it was shot, and just Ava digging into their lives and actually showing us them as people was great, because I think the world, as the title says, when they see us, they don't see us as people. And I kind of wanted to start off with the things that they called us. So, or they called them, the words they used to describe them. And I actually wrote them down, so I'll be glancing back and forth at my notes. But So they call them animals. And this is in the series. I included a little bit from the documentary, but not much. Call them animals, call them monsters. They said they were idiots. They said these are not kids, even though they were 14 and 15 and 16 years old. And then you think about the descriptions of the criminals that they had, the people they were looking for. It was just like black males. And then when she told them to go look for them, she said, oh, go to every project and find all the black males that were in the park that night. How can you assume that they were from the projects? How can you assume that they were from anywhere? You don't know anything about them. And that pissed me off. And then the irony of the detective being Felicity Huffman, who just went through a scandal of the college scandal where she was lying on her children to get them into college. When I saw her on screen, I was like, okay, this is already going to make me mad. So that, and then when you see one of the women that was going through the park that night, that was riding the bike, she testifies on the stand, and she also says that they were making animal-like sounds. They were grunting. That's all you heard? It just, I'm trying to do this without getting emotional, but the things that they used to describe these boys was just ridiculous. They're children. And it's funny because the saying boys will be boys does not resonate with black boys. They can't be boys. They're always looked at as something else. And it's really sad that this situation happened, because how do you tell your kids to be good people and do good things when they were being good people and they were doing good things and they were just caught up in the wrong moment? They were literally at the wrong place at the wrong time. So if you were going to teach your kids how to be respectful, you can do that, but it's like you can't give them the blueprint to completely live their lives the right way, because any way you put it, they will still look at them as violent or aggressive animals. It's kind of a catch-22. So this series just kind of sent me on a roller coaster of emotions constantly. But, you know, you can't look away because the story is very intriguing, even though we know the outcome. We know how everything goes. It was just hard to watch. So I can see why people have not watched it yet, and I can see why they're kind of putting it off, because it really, really pulls on your heartstrings. Like I said, Jarrell Jerome was a really, really great actor. And for him to be so young and just be able to dive into that role was so amazing. As well as Niecy Nash, I loved her character. I loved the way she played her. Michael Williams, even though he was the father that left, because he's such a great actor, I just charged that to his acting skills. He was amazing. And you know that the series is heavy when Ava DuVernay, the executive producer, writer, all of that, when she had to have mental health specialists nearby for everyone, just because it's so heart-wrenching. It's so much to deal with. And when you're in character like that, I can't imagine how you feel trying to convey these characters and trying to be yourself when you leave. That transition it's just not easy to make. So the whole case was just stupid dumb. The whole case, nothing made sense. I don't understand how they convicted them. I don't understand the thoughts of the jury. I don't understand. There was no evidence that they committed this crime. They had semen, or they had samples that they matched with none of them. They tested over 40 people and none of them matched. Not until Matias Reyes came and confessed to the crime. So we have all of these things. We have all of these conflicting stories. They all told a different story. They all said something different. They all blamed it on someone different because they didn't even know each other. So it was easy for them to blame it on the other person. And then when they met, they just kind of confessed to each other that they didn't know. They were just trying to go home. And that's the bad thing about it, is they were coerced into making these statements. And most of them were interrogated without their parents. They're minors. They shouldn't be there without their parents. And I think the detectives kind of took advantage of that, especially when some of the parents had to leave. You know, I think it was Kevin. Yeah, Kevin's mother was sick, had to go home and take medicine, and they took advantage of him after that. Korey had nobody. He was the last one that kind of pieced together everything for them. Antron, I think, it was Yusef was the only one whose mother kind of pulled him away before they got to interrogate him and make him sign the confession. The rest all have confessions that were just completely fake. And it's just sad because they took advantage of these kids. They don't know. I'm pretty sure they didn't understand their rights. They knew that that's what the police tell you, but they didn't know that they could waive their right to say anything. And that's the scary part. So now you have all these kids that have waived their rights to attorneys, and they're talking. And they don't know it. They're just trying to talk so they can go home. So that makes the situation even worse. It was just a lot going on. A lot. And then the whole thing with Trump being the one that was yelling to bring back the death penalty in this case. This is y'all's president. He was yelling to bring back the death penalty, and he took out an $85,000 ad just to say this, as well as say it on TV. And even Trump, when he looked back on it, when he was talking about them, he was like, I hate the people that did this to her. And then he had the nerve to say something along the lines of, oh, well, I think black men are coming up in this country. If I were to come back, I'd come back as a black man. And he just kept calling us the blacks. And that's when the mother was like, what's a black? What is that? So it's just, when they see us, it's so true, because it's the same thing that goes today. A lot of people don't see us as people. They see us as a separate thing to them. Like we don't belong in this country or on this earth. And it's just really sad how Korey's story went. Korey was the one that served the longest term because he was 16 at the time, and he was tried as an adult. He was sent straight to Rikers Island, which I cannot imagine how that felt. That's an adult prison, like a maximum security prison, and it's just one of the worst ones that you can be sent to. And then it made me think about how Khalif Browder was sent there as well. Now, Khalif Browder was also innocent, and he spent years in Rikers Island. And he came out and stayed in society for just a little while and then committed suicide. So just the mental effects that all of this is having on everyone, it's terrible. I'm not going to do too much of the details. We can all go and watch the series, but just to think about the mental health effects that this has had on everyone. I watched the interview they had with Oprah, and she was basically asking them how they felt about all of these things. And I know Antron McCray is one that has not gotten over it at all. He's still struggling with it. He's very shy. He's still struggling with just living day-to-day life, and plus he lost his mother, and it was a lot, and I can understand that. He never forgave his father, which I can understand that as well. His wife wants him to get wants him to see a therapist, but at this point I can see why he just does not trust anyone. I wouldn't trust anyone. I wouldn't want to talk to anyone, because I would think that they would try to use my words against me. It's just a catch-22 for them all. And poor Korey, didn't have anyone. He lost a lot of people while he was in jail, and coming out, he just seems like he's one of the sweetest people, but you never know what people are going through. And I think they're all just like barely making it. Most of them are married, and I think Korey's the only one who isn't. So it's kind of, it's an adjustment that they're still getting used to. And you know, they won the lawsuit, the $41 million, but they have to split it. But you can't get your life back. That's not gonna contribute to you getting your life back. You still have lost the critical years of your life, the developmental years of your life, and you can't get them back. So money can't buy that. And I don't know why people don't understand that. So I just wanted to come and talk about this because I feel like it's a great conversation starter for everyone. If you have kids, especially if you're a black family with black kids, you have to continue to teach them how to live in this world when it's impossible to teach them, because we never know how other people will act towards us. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Let's start the conversation. Let's talk about it. Have you seen it? Are you waiting to see it? Are you trying to avoid it? Just let me know any of your thoughts. And I hope to see you guys soon in my next video.